Hi everyone, it's Joe Moses. This is Writing for Digital Media, and this is a bit of a preview, a few things to do before we get into the actual class. I'll develop another screencast for an introduction to the class and the syllabus, but in the meantime, if you have time to get acquainted with a few things before class starts, that's what this particular video is about. Um, when you go into lessons for the course, you'll see 1 week before class, getting acquainted, and there are 4 items to pay attention to. One is getting introduced to the epsilen learning management system, and if you've already taken a course using epsilen, you can skip this. Secondly, I'd like you to look at how to create an eportfolio. Once again, if you've already begun this process, you can skip this, but if you haven't, it's a good idea to have your portfolio, to be familiar with the interface and the kinds of elements that go into a portfolio. We'll be developing this throughout the semester, and your grade will be based on a lot of the content. A lot of your grade, rather, will be based on the content you produce for this ePortfolio. Thirdly, test Collaborate for our synchronous sessions. When we meet online, we'll use Blackboard Collaborate, which is a really terrific interface. There's a whiteboard so that we can all collaborate and post ideas and talk to each other and work together on projects or discussions, all at the same time. For people who are not able to attend these, we will record them and you'll be able to see them when you do have time. Finally, and most interesting to me, is for you to please introduce yourself no later than September 3rd, which is the start of the class. The instructions are here, and you can go to the forums and start your post, including why you're taking this class, including at least one reason no one else in the course is likely to give in order to get away from some of the generic information, which is important, but I'd also ask you to distinguish yourselves somehow. In terms of why I'm teaching the class, I'm very interested in digital media. I've been working in digital domains for 15 years, web development, copywriting, and whatnot. And recently I'm also part of a fellowship program in which we're exploring teaching technology-enhanced learning using digital tools. I'll do my formal introduction a little bit later. Number 2 asks you to discuss a fear you have about writing. And I ask that because I want to emphasize here at the very beginning the importance of writing. I use this not only because of my professional background as a writer and editor in publishing, but also out of a long background in writing instruction. And just to clarify the vital importance professionally of clarity, precision, accuracy, grammatical correctness, spelling, mechanics, consistency, sort of all the values that come with publication are going to be brought to bear all the time when we're writing for digital media. The immediacy of writing for digital media demands that professionals in the field take time for proofreading, for being hyper aware of style, hyper aware of potential ambiguity, readers' responses, and the like. And so, as a professional reader, I'll be responding to your work with an expectation of striving for excellence in everything that you produce. Which leads me to the fear question, which is, once the stakes are high when it comes to writing, what fear, those stakes tend to bring out fears in people. And so I'd like just an introduction to those from you, which will help me design exercises, help me design activities, help me design things that I'll want to say or focus on in the discussions. If you want to explore the topic of fear in some detail, I recommend a book by Ralph Keyes, Keyes, called The Courage to Write, in which he outlines the fears of noted writers. Once again, emphasizing the idea that it's very common to have fears, but I want to address them and make them explicit and get them out in the open and move on. Number 3 asks you to think of your own experience in writing for digital media, describing key challenges you faced, how you've addressed them. I guess for myself, I would say that learning the epsilen LMS has been a challenge. Certainly, well, the interface, all these LMS interfaces are different, and they have their own challenges. This one uses frames, so it's hard to link from page to page. You have to use the navigation on the left, and it's a bit disorienting at first. There will be many more. Well, other experience writing for digital media having to do with the affordances of digital communication with clients is always a challenge. Clients tending not to be very good at explaining what they want, or being much better at explaining what they don't want when you deliver something. And so the idea of communication is going to be a really important theme in the course, because writing for digital media is writing for multiple audiences all the time. Finally, number 4, please tell me how familiar you are with epsilen, so I'll know that if everyone's already been through at least one course on epsilen, that I won't have to go into very much detail about how the interface works or where things are and all that. However, if I discover that even one person isn't very familiar, then I will take some time to help you become familiar with it. So anyway, give me an idea of where you're at. With epsilen, I'll also ask you to reply to others' postings. These will go on the Introduce Yourself forum, and I'd like you to be mindful of each other's, introduce yourselves to each other, let each other know what you have in common, what's interesting about the person's posts. This give and take is going to be central to the course, central to our exchange of information, and so use the opportunity to get acquainted. I'll produce an introduction to the course in another video, so bye for now.